Pikachu from last night. First, he's not really cute, honestly, to be honest. Second, the animated version of him, Luffy's hot. Third, great teacher, I can't pronounce his name, it's hot as hell, apparently. Oh, Kakashi, my husband. I love men. At least, emotionally, aesthetically. Where were we? The 13th trying to it's 10:50 in the morning right now, and I'm thinking about the digital circus in Italian while I've been up awake for like an hour. Ugh.
So, Annika Sorenstam, you're quite the female golfer, aren't you? Yes, quite the female golfer. Ha! I knew it! Look! Everybody look! Look! She's a fraud!
Scantuber, my dear planters, since I do not see him as a YouTuber at this point, is a talking hat that basically has 287,000 subscribers, basically almost 3,000 or 200,000, which is really impressive, that basically does storytelling on certain gory deaths of people. And it is really educational. Basically, he posts this as a sticker figure animated. However, for my dear planners, he basically used this to manipulate his viewers for money on their mental health. The photo, I'll give you an example. Two of them. These are supposed to be this types of stories that the talking crap in hat, I basically want to call his name on that, let's say presentates, right? And that you see in top left side is supposed to be a meter that basically portrays how tense these devs are, and a poor boy, he may have like ADHD or some type of like neurological disability because of how like he wants to go for adventure and cannot stay still. I can relate. And then the way that the boy just falls off 200 feet from the air. Because he basically does have screaming sound effects throughout his videos, right? To basically give you an imaginative image or reality of how these people lived or died. Well, mostly died, right? Think about like 1,000 ways to die, but different. And that poor man that basically witnessed that death. And yes, I did 13 takes on 10:53 in the morning, by the way, the 8th of February on Wednesday, and I'm celebrating here because I'm exhausted. And that's supposed to be the photo of that boy falling. I can't imagine how that's like. Also, especially back then, such high quality for cameras. And his poor parents had to hear the news about this. And his name is Keith. Poor Keith. Right? From our viewers and down, don't go over to your mates. I hope that you're doing well. However, wait for it.
I won't lie.
Excuse me?
Cases like these that kind of put a damper on my mood.
Excuse me?
As I talk about physical health and its safety mental health.
Oh, s'il te plaît, l'hombre. Le monde.
We cover a plethora
No.
Usually every once in a while, I'll come across something.
Why did you Why sponsor BetterHelp? Talking about why? Pourquoi?
Extremely distressing. Odd enough, when I was younger, I'd never really communicate with anybody about how things like these would affect me mentally, nor would I ever reach out for help or social support. But as I grew older and lost some people in my life, it taught me the importance of opening up. During difficult times, my family and I have personally turned to therapy to work through our own trauma
Better
and stress.
scam is more like because these are not trained therapists that basically would just say it's your fault, and then you're being scammed by your information online. That's what you're trying to do at Talking Hat, more like talking crap in hat. Not sad.
Start today and get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/atalkinghat. These videos revolve around real people with real stories to share.
Maybe your ego is larger than your hat. Because you give me Eddie vibes, so Eddie, you didn't win. So, twerk.
Being heard.
Or knit.
Blender. Airports are supposed to be gateways of excitement, the place where journeys begin.
I'm guilty to say I didn't want to view all the way through because of that darn sponsor. And yes, I know about Turk strap and basically that poor Ukrainian girl that got stabbed at the Charlotte, North Carolina bus by that black man because one of my viewers is Ukrainian. You should be ashamed of yourself and talking crap in a hat. I'm not having a happy day. No. And yes, I did appreciate you having these adorable animals and giving credit to these other YouTubers on here. However, though, what were you thinking in the land of Bubblegum's jelly beans? What were you thinking? Snake charged right behind your tail. Snake? Can you hear me? Snake? No! I do wonder if that's a frog or a worm, or a froggy worm. Remember that episode of basically when Pomni becomes anti-Pomni after the fifth episode when she's supposed to be someone else, so she isn't, just to impress Jax by murdering Zolpo with basically those really cool guns so that she can basically touch his rapid heart. And by the way, Jax is hot as hell, just want to be honest. Well, that's basically how I've seen of a talking crap in a hat, because of how he basically is someone he's not, because he's a cash groomer. We'll make this give an example of a man named Josh.
What do you do, buddy?
Oh, Ryan, please don't do this.
Don't do what, buddy?
Oh, your videos just ended up being particularly flattering. Just remember, we have paid so many influencers so much money to say nice things about us. You could be one of them.
Yes, you have. But I live in Missouri, which means my cost of living's a little lower. Meaning, I don't need your money.
Yeah, but then you'd have extra money. You could buy so many fancy things.
Yeah, that's true. But I'd rather tell people that...
Oh, no.
You sold people's personal data, lied about it, and then were fined $7.8 million by the FTC. Your quality seems iffy, the certification of your therapist has been brought into question, and you just seem to be overcharging the hell out of people.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because the only time I watch TV is when I travel for work, and because I watch Forensic Files, I get ads that target older people, and that's when I saw you. And I bet you were hoping that those people hadn't been in online comment sections to know your reputation, so you were targeting older people that were lonely and vulnerable for your product. Therapy's important, buddy. Don't be that guy.
Well, someone's never getting money from us.
Oh my god. 10%, by the way, that was the lightning. Oh my god. Wow, yeah, you definitely heard that. It's 11:55, by the way. Oh my god. It's currently midnight and it's raining pretty heavily. Yeah, damn, go figure. This is definitely the end of monsoon. Yep. Heavy rainfall. Probably get an inch. Remember that scene when Shoto went to in Boku no Hero Academia? Season 2. Sorry, why am I talking in Spanish? Because of how he had a flashback because of his father basically was abusing, yelling at him, and also basically his mother, I don't know what the hell she did. She'd be considering having a first-degree assault and battery charge on Shoto because of how she basically gave him a burn on his right eye. And then he basically has the flames coming up and saying that he wants to be our hero too, so to speak. I love My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia done Pokemon. That's the name, just random animes, right? That is basically how I always feel sometimes. Imagine that you're just filled with rage because of trauma, and then you later have to cool down because of how you're going through a lot, right? If you're basically a bipolar, you understand where I'm coming from. Just to be a little bit random. Also, another really hot man that I like, Hawks from My Hero Academia, because he basically went through so much trauma because how his father basically kicked or assaulted him, and his mother didn't care or thinking he's wasted potential because of his quirk. You know, he grabbed a really hot, sexy man, 24-year-old, by the way. And it's only 18 right now to work on a Friday, and I'm 13 months of this date, but let me just continue. Talking at? Why can't you just support your viewers that love your videos and that Parmola that I feel it's 5 in the morning, MacBook had low storage and wanting to give them 10% of that app just to talk to a fake therapist that is a darn shitty fraud. Tell them to go kill themselves, or better yet, that's their fault because they basically may have depression. Not said, bitch. The Talking Hats cash grooming scam of BetterHelp sort of reminds me of that episode when Stan had that addiction of that Farmingville type of Canadian game, right? When he basically talked to Zane about how he has a gaming addiction. Well, basically that's what Talking Hat is doing. And he's basically the Canadian devil, and he just money towards the mentally vulnerable. And basically, Kurt and McKenny, our brothers, are basically my planners, and Kyle. For these story-gory animators is popping up, like planners from Plants vs. Zombies, or the zombie planners, is quite concerning, right? From Purple and Paul that are curious about this, and especially Paul to have an awful experience. A viewer of mine from Basic Engineering, by the way. Salamat kasi pa for basically telling me about that. To basically Lauren mentioning I used BetterHelp a long time ago, and I got my info stolen, and the so-called therapist made me more depressed. And Emma, I think someone's muy miss Emma, that I need to expose him, and hold on. To Natalie Gumball, that never heard of BetterHelp, but basically thinks this sounds awful, which it quite is. And you have every right to be upset and furious at, just to name them. And Mark, he even mentioned that he used BetterHelp, but he had a bad experience with it. And Jimmy, he's totally right on this. Unfortunately, a lot of influencers don't care about the viewers, they only care about money. Absolutely, Jimmy. I think I should say yes and finish, if I remember, because I speak a little bit slowly because he's from Finland. And then Lisa, she basically asked, like, why does BetterHelp exist? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Basically, just to add on the talking hat, because I know he's not be seeing this, and this would be basically a pebble in the Pacific Ocean. A talking hat, if you ever see this, my viewers, a couple of them, Lauren and Son, basically have some type of cancer, including Greg as well. And I even have an officer today named Zelda that basically had an awful experience because of how stressed out she is in her job. For being an officer, she's not American, FYI, and she basically was told it's her mistake. And another viewer of mine, Deon, I forgot which one it is that told me, for whomever basically told me about it, and it's 11:59 right now, so I'm Deon. It's midnight. Talking, you can be during this. I'm trying to go this together because there was another video I want to share about a man that was cute that sadly especially how in this country that we do have a mental health crisis, that basically did drugs to basically, get him high to help himself. He is basically a zombie resembling the Walking Dead. This is not okay for talking how to do this. If this doesn't go to other way, I might decide to stop here because this is quite exhausting, but I just said